So I've been on a video making kick lately, churning out crazy amounts of content, which has been really fun. But consequently, I've been neglectful of a lot of my plant duties. Most importantly, keeping an eye on my plant quarantine jail with all of the new plants that I got from Etsy a couple of weeks ago. And I was going to do a video on a terrarium build and had to go in to the quarantine and get my jewel orchid, and that's when I noticed mold. Lots and lots of mold. Mold on the plants, like my White Wizard and one of my Alocasias. Interestingly, despite them looking like they have been taken over by some sort of infestation, they are, hopefully, I don't know about that Alocasia, they are still savable, so let's give this a shot. If you don't know, mold happens essentially when there is way more moisture than necessary for a plant to sustain itself. Yes, a lot of plants love humidity, but there's a tipping point where it just gets a little too out of control. My humidity monitor actually showed that my plant jail was cruising at about 90% humidity. What, plants don't want to live in water and prefer air? Losers. One thing I hadn't really taken into consideration, which was my fault, is that there was no way for air to circulate in the quarantine. I hadn't put in any fans or anything like that, which obviously was a problem. So now I have a couple of USB fans that are in both chambers of the quarantine. Hopefully this won't be a problem again. So if this happens to you, what should you do? Well, like I said, your plants are still hopefully savable if you act quickly. First, remove the plants from the situation and install some sort of air circulation if it's a closed-in environment. Like I've shown you in a bunch of my videos, I have a collection of USB chargeable fans that I bought on AliExpress for like $2 each. Next, open up wherever the mold is happening and let fresh air circulate through it, even with the fans. Basically, you want to let things dry out. So now that you are triaging it and taking care of it, let's actually destroy the mold. So for that, you're going to need a couple things. Hydrogen peroxide, gloves, cotton swabs. So let me go get mine. Hydrogen peroxide is great for mold because you can use it on the plants safely without issue. You can flush soil with it to remove larvae, mold, whatever. And it also is able to bring oxygen directly to the roots safely. Now, if it's a hot mess of mold, then you can create like a very diluted hydrogen peroxide soak. Diluting it to 10 parts water for every 1 part hydrogen peroxide. But if you're like me, you just need to, see, it comes off super quickly and will kill mold safely without putting any harm on the plants. But you do want to inspect them thoroughly just to make sure you get everything. Now I have a very chunky arid mix in here, so it could be hiding other mold, but I think that one's okay. Oh, this guy I'm not sure, but we're gonna give him a shot anyways. I would recommend using a different Q-tip per plant just to be sure. Poor guy. I am so terrible a plant parent sometimes. Now, gloves are optional really. If you don't have any, it's more important that you get rid of the mold than you do have gloves on, but it just protects you and the plant from getting any bad juju. Oh, I don't know if you can see. I know it's hard because this is very close to my black shirt, but there's some mold along the stem, so we want to Now, if you ever get mold in a closed terrarium, a much better way to get rid of mold is to add springtails. Some people think of them as pests, but they are actually very good plant buds to have around because they will eat mold like nobody's business. However, they've been known to jump if the colony gets too big, which can be a big problem. if you don't want a bunch of bugs jumping on you. So it's really good to just only use those in closed terrariums. Now, I've gotten rid of the mold so far, from what I can see. Next will be to repot these in fresh soil. And I do want to keep these pots. So I think what I'll do is sterilize them, sanitize them, whatever it's called, with some hot soapy water and some isopropyl alcohol. But everything else, all of this stuff is getting trashed. So there you go. Quick video, quick and dirty, but that's how you do it. That's how you get rid of mold. See you in the next video.